Hey, welcome back to UFOs Above Us. All right, today we're going to look at a series of 3 photographs. We'll start off with the original photograph I took of the moon there, and then we'll look at 2 enhancements. The first one I just boosted the brightness and contrast. There's a shot of it there. And then this third one I added some extra boost to kind of oversaturate. So let's go ahead and look at that first picture and we'll blow it up here. And what we're going to do is just point out some structures that we see here on the moon. Now, in that big crater in the lower left is the main one, but before we get there, just notice some of these other structures. Right there, you've got a kind of a distinct cross-shaped structure. A lot of unusual structures in there, but this is obviously the key thing we're going to look at is that what I'm going to call a tower or some kind of a building or something man-made or something intelligently designed there on the moon. And you can see kind of a cover on the top of it, and you can see a clearly defined base. And then what looks kind of like a spiral something wrapping around it as it extends up. There's a column going up, and then you see one beside it. It basically looks like the same thing, only in the shadow of the moon, so it's harder to see. So that's what we're going to focus on, although we'll look at a couple of other things while we're focusing on this picture. But I think that's clear-cut evidence of some kind of intelligent design on the moon. Now, some of the other things I want to point out while we're here, just to look at them and stay balanced, is that right there looks odd to me. Kind of has almost reminds me of a tent shape to it, whatever that is, that object there on the rim of well, I guess we'll call it a crater, whatever that thing is. One thing I've learned about the moon, a lot of the things on the moon, I don't think they're what they look like at all. I think they're just camouflaged to look like naturally occurring craters, but they aren't at all. Now in here I'm just kind of pointing out as we go here some of the different structures I see. I think there's quite a few buildings in this little crater here. That one looks maybe like a cylindrical. There's another one that looks kind of like a water tower with a couple of legs down below it. And here's something large and black. I'm not sure what that is, but it's unusual. And then maybe a horizontal barrack style building. I've got another one there, and a big one right here. I don't know what that is, but it almost looks like it has a dish on top, like some kind of large building with an opening on the side, and then a dish on the top. Excuse me. And then here we can see, I guess, what's supposed to be a crater, but it's not even connected. It's 2 separate pieces. So there's a lot of things here that stand out to me as being intelligent design rather than naturally occurring. Now, like I said, I don't know what they are. But it would be hard to convince anybody who has an open mind about this that that's naturally occurring. So as we keep going, I'm going to go to the enhanced picture now. And if we look at that enhanced picture, you can even see a little more clearly that big tower structure in the center of that crater there. And if you look closely, you can see the defined base, and you can see the kind of coils around it. So I guess my question for everybody is, number one, does this convince people that that's not naturally occurring? I mean, you can see the spiraling coil around that giant object right there. You can see a big cylinder going up. You can see a cone-shaped, cap on it, and then one just like it beside it. How could those be naturally occurring? I mean, it's just, if you ask me, I think it's pretty clear-cut. The smaller crater has other convincing evidence. You see the thing with the 4 legs or something sticking down on it, and then the big rectangular top. You can see these structures sticking up here. They certainly don't look naturally occurring. This is what really stands out. Look at that segmented rim right there. You've got what looks like 2 sections of a circle segmented. How could that be naturally occurring? What would cause that? But then if you think about it, do these things from a distance look like natural objects? And they certainly do. So my question would be, what's causing these things? What is the source of all these objects? Is it people here on Earth that are doing a program on the moon and we don't know about it? Or could it be something else? And one of the other answers that I can think of, could this be some ancient civilization on the moon? And maybe it's no longer active. Some of my other videos have evidence that might suggest otherwise, but I don't know the answers to these questions. So all I can do is show you my evidence that I took myself These aren't manipulated or tampered in any way other than what I'm telling you. And if you look at that central object in the bottom of that crater, and here's the best zoom I could do of it, how can you say that's naturally occurring? And I think, truthfully, you can't. So the question is, what is it? Who put it there? To find out the answers, keep watching those skies.